Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Hello out there in Radio Land. This is Hank Hill, Assistant Manager, Strickland Propane. Come on down to Strickland where you can get a great deal on the new Char King 320 propane grill. We have other propane grills and propane accessories for your grilling needs. So come on down. Mention this ad for an extra 5% off of your next propane tank fill-up. That's Strickland Propane, Harlan, Texas. Have a great day.
Bwaaa! Bwaaa tries to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Bwaaa, King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
And Rusty, we have a guest.
Yeah, we have Matt here with us.
Matt, hello.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
He waved.
You want to give us a brief rundown of who you are, Matt?
Yeah, sure. So
That's enough. No, I'm just kidding. You're good.
Okay, so my name is Matt McGovern. All the people who know me well and who are in my inner circle call me Matt Savage.
Why is that?
I'm a reigning world heavyweight champion
Of
I don't know. I just have a world heavyweight title that I've been carrying around for several years.
Okay.
Yeah.
you've done a lot of wrestling and stuff, right?
I used to do it for fun, just for like friends, but not like super competitive. Every time I always like considered going to an academy or something. I realized how old I am and how fragile I am. And
Sure.
Just, maybe 10 years ago I would have tried, but just...
Yeah, you've got to be at least, 75?
I tried 35.
35, really?
Yeah.
Wow, you look much younger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Rusty, we also have a special thing here in the studio.
Yes, so Artie...
And by the way, welcome to Friday.
Welcome to Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. So we got a great fact checker
Artie.
who checks us out sometimes, does some fact checking for us, Artie. And Artie, he hands out candy in his neighborhood. You know, he's the guy with like instead of having
sounds terrible.
Well, it sounds terrible, but I mean instead of having like
He's
a
got that
pocket,
van.
he's an older guy, so it's like instead of having a pocket full of like Werther's Originals,
Yeah.
he hands out Curly Whirlies instead. That's like his
Curly Whirlies, and
he's
these
the
are
Curly Whirly guy.
These are made by Cadbury.
Yeah, they're made by Cadbury, and these are actually imported. He imported these from the UK, so he paid
Sure.
top dollar in fees. I'm
To
sure
get 'em
to get
in.
this in. Yeah,
This is very nice of him to send
yeah, it
these.
is very nice.
Thank you, Artie.
So if you notice,
Thank you so much.
if you'll notice on the candy bar too is the amount of nutritional information that they give us in other countries and the amount of ingredients. If you look at the ingredients,
man.
the ingredients are way healthier. There's less things that I can't pronounce on their ingredient list. So
Sure.
that's a good thing about like European
I like the
food.
emulsifiers.
So, or not European because they're not a part of Europe anymore. So English, United Kingdom,
Milk
British
solids,
chocolate,
14% minimum. So it has at a minimum 14% milk solids.
a minimum.
A minimum
Curds and whey.
could be anywhere from 1 to 14%.
Let's
Okay,
check 'em
so
out.
when I open this,
It's like a lattice.
It is like a lattice that's covered in chocolate. I'm assuming it's a little wafer. Right?
No, it's not a wafer.
Oh, it's not?
It's actually caramel.
Oh yeah, it's
So
bendy.
so it's bendy and it's.
It looks like a dog treat.
And when I got it, it was melted and I froze it. So
Oh,
that's why it's broken because I rescued it off the front porch. So
At first, it kind of looked like
This
a
is getting
pretzel,
yummier
too.
and yummier. The
yeah,
more
it
you
does
tell
kind of
about
look
it.
like a pretzel or like a Twix that didn't get covered properly.
That's just straight up caramel and chocolate.
Yeah, it's like caramel and chocolate licorice in a way.
Mm-hmm. Makes my teeth hurt. I love these sounds.
Yeah, that's
Just
great.
everybody chewing into a microphone.
some ASMR. I think I can even hear Mason.
This is Mason. What do you think?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not what I thought it would be, but I do like it. I'm gonna turn.
I
on the
really-
ASMR.
I really thought it was a cookie. That's what it looked like when I took it. This has to be the worst candy to eat on a microphone.
Oh, caramel? Yeah, because we're
Well,
going to
I'm
be
just saying
licking
it-
caramel off our teeth for the next 30 minutes.
It never goes away. The more I chew it, the bigger it gets.
I
used
was
to-
expecting some nut or something inside of this. I don't know why.
That's what the girl I took to prom said. Well, thanks, Artie.
I've eaten lots of them. So I'm originally from England, so I've already experienced curly whirlies.
Yeah, anything that
I'm gonna have to swallow that. Okay.
anything that has to do with like something from another country,
Yeah.
imported stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I got to try it at least once. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So thank you for everything.
Like
It's very
bukkake.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for our family-friendly podcast.
Yeah. Well,
So let's talk about also fan interaction here lately.
yeah, we get a fair amount.
We've gotten a lot.
We've been getting a lot of fan interaction, which is a good thing. So I've been also.
We've had some wonderful people make commercials,
Yeah, we actually had a shout out to Chris.
which we'll be playing in these episodes.
Yeah, his name is
by the
Chris.
way.
I can't remember his last name right now off the top of my head.
Chris,
but
the commercial man.
shout out to Chris, the guy that did commercials. He sent me another one. That one I sent you last night.
I
or
heard that
whatever.
last night. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. So we had a guy that listens to our podcast. He actually found us, I think, through Facebook, and he sent me a message, and he sent me like all these little audio clips where he had made commercials for different things inside of the King of the Hill world. So
It's
it was
really
like,
cool.
Fun Center, Fun Center, Fun Center, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he did one for like the Arlen Speedway, and he did like a whole like commercial thing and sent it to us. So we're gonna.
I'll tell you
we're gonna
what.
put him in the show.
Let's play one of Chris's commercials right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Give Matt a preview.
Yep.
Hello. Do you suffer from migraines, stiff neck, tension headaches? Come see me, John Redcord, your licensed New Age healer. I'll help you get rid of that. Thank you. This has been my ad.
See, it's
so
pretty good
good.
stuff. It's really not. That's really, really good
Yeah,
stuff.
that is so good.
It's
These
pinpoint.
This has
hardcore
been my
fans
ad.
make the world go round.
They do, and that's what a lot of the whole thing of these fandom type podcasts is about. You know, is finding the hardcore fans. Actually, I got a.
Well, Artie reached out to us the same way.
Yeah, Artie did. He reached out
Yeah.
the same way. Well, he reached out to Mike first, and then
And now he is our official
he's our
fact checker.
official fact checker. He fact checks every episode for us and sends me a bunch of information for every episode.
And then let's talk about the art that we received.
Yeah, so there is a Instagram artist by the name of I Draw Basketballs, and he draws
Basketballs.
in a like an 8-year-old with crayon
Yeah,
style,
like a childish
and it's great.
whimsy.
Like it's good content. Like
Yeah.
he does amazing stuff. He's done a bunch of different stuff. He does a lot of sports related like art and stuff. But he's given us permission to use what he sent us as shirts.
Yeah, that will
So
be our
that's
first
gonna be our next
merch.
thing.
That
It's
will be
gonna
our
be-
first merch. We will be doing the official Bwaaa. I draw basketballs
That's a
T-shirt.
good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's gonna be super cool.
that will be cool. And I think we might do maybe give away like
Yeah, I'd love to give away a couple of shirts.
3
yeah.
or 5 of them. You know, somewhere
Well,
around
a
there.
couple, but sure.
Yeah, 2 or 3. You know, 2 or 3. You know, just see what we can do with that.
No, I would love to give away some of those shirts, and then
That'd be great.
we'll also set it up so that people can acquire those via the PayPal system.
Yeah, via the PayPal system or via
Arlen Cash.
what is it called? Etsy.
Etsy, is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna set up an
Nah,
Etsy
we're
store.
not gonna set up
I
an
didn't think
Etsy.
so.
We're gonna set up like
We'll just put it on our
a
page.
shop outside the Piggly Wiggly.
Outside the red and white or the pink and
or,
white.
Clerks, I'm not supposed to be here today. We'll put it outside their convenience store.
Well, we just, you know what we can do is we can wholesale them to Girl Scouts, and then when they set up with their cookies, they can just sell them for us.
Yeah, we can do that.
We get $5 from every shirt.
There you go.
Okay, so this being a Friday episode,
Okay.
we don't go by the strict rules that we normally would go by.
No, and it's kind of a looser platform,
Yeah.
and it gives us an opportunity to discuss whatever the hell we feel like discussing.
Absolutely. So we've done, Matt, in the past on Friday episodes, we release twice a week. So on Mondays we do a strict episode, right? Where we follow the actual script of the episode. We go through it moment by moment, that sort of thing, with our wacky observations. And then on Fridays, we release an episode that is sometimes talking about minor characters in the King of the Hill universe, sometimes businesses. This last Friday was sponsored by the Arlen Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
It was Arlen Businesses #1 or Part 1.
Yeah, it was a lot of kickbacks.
Yeah.
A lot of kickbacks on that. A lot of
Yeah,
mega
well,
Walmart coupons.
I mean, they got to get we got to get a buck.
yeah.
So, yeah.
If you go to Abracapasta,
Uh-huh.
they'll give you 15% off your meal and a pack of cigarettes if you mention this.
That's
episode.
wonderful. Yeah, mention this episode at Abracapasta and get 15% off plus a pack of smokes.
Okay, I can find something to do with that.
Sure, sure. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is a minor. I had this all printed out and ready. The minor characters episode again.
Before we jump
yeah.
into that, so one thing I like to ask some of our guests and stuff that we have on. I think you were guest number 3 actually, or
Yep.
3 or 4. No, 3. You're guest number 3.
3.
So where does like King of the Hill start for you? So everybody has an origin point. I remember my first King of the Hill episode, and like I remember my first experience with King of the Hill. Like, could you is there like a cold start that you remember for that or?
Okay, so for me, like I said earlier, I'm a huge fan of The Simpsons. Around the time I started watching The Simpsons on Sunday nights on Fox, not too long after that, I started seeing commercials for King of the Hill saying that it premieres January '97 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I remember that iconic part from the first episode where Hank's screaming out to Bobby, "Keep your eye on the ball." What? And and that already made at least me and my dad laugh because that's his type of humor too. And then we watched the premiere and we liked it, and pretty much every episode in season 1 was iconic for us at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and no joke. Another reason that I got into it, I like the humor, I like the animation. Bobby Hill, and you're going to love this, Bobby Hill was probably the best representation of me when I was like 10 years old.
Really?
On any TV show at all. I
Yeah.
mean, if you knew me whenever I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, I was a real life Bobby Hill.
Well, you know what I think about
Wow.
Bobby Hill? What a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people would probably like agree with this take, but I think Bobby Hill is like supremely cool. Where people are like, Bobby Hill's this and that and this. I think Bobby Hill is like supremely cool because like Bobby Hill does not give 2 fucks what anybody thinks about Bobby Hill. At the end of the day, he does whatever the hell
That's
makes
true.
him happy. Even when his dad like shits on him, he's like, I'm still like, I don't care. I like troll dolls. You like propane. Leave me alone. You know, that kind of thing. Like
Troll
he's just unapologetically Bobby Hill. And that's
very
how-
true about Bobby though. Like
Yeah.
he's got his things and he's doing his comedic Jewish character. He's watching
The Propaniacs.
The
Look at that.
Propaniacs.
Like that was Bobby. The
Yeah.
entire Propaniacs. Bobby orchestrated that whole thing.
Yep.
Like with him and Luann. You got to give Luann credit too for that.
Well, I feel like Luann is more of a follower, right? She just kind of falls in line and does fun stuff.
She's somebody you delegate work to.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
somebody who can complete a task though,
She's somebody you delegate work to, but you check on her often.
unless it's fixing a Ford F-150.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
She is a mechanic,
I
but
think she'll tell-
nobody
I think she'll
really
tell you
knows
what
it.
to do on that. No,
You know,
nobody knows it.
It's kind of crazy. I don't know why she didn't do that.
I'm not sure either.
You know, it
Well-
seems like she would have been super successful, and she probably still would have met Lucky.
Well, it's probably because it's not feminine enough for
Yeah,
her.
maybe.
She is,
Yeah.
you know.
Peggy probably told her she couldn't do it.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? As far as the
She probably tried
femininity
to shoot
part.
it down. She probably told her to
Yeah.
get married and have kids.
You got to get married and have
substitute
kids. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, also, whenever I first saw Bobby without really knowing who he was or seeing his character, I thought he was basically like a little Curly from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
He does
yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
look
he
like
is,
Curly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is reminiscent of Curly for sure.
Yeah, and one of the first episodes, whenever like Bobby was talking to like two other kids at like some type of a sports game or school function, I felt like I was looking at like two little Three Stooges or two other Stooges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what him and kind of like
Joseph.
him, Joseph, and
Joseph is Shemp.
Khan Jr. They're
Yeah.
like, to me, they three, and then she's like Mo.
Khan is kind of like Mo,
Because
yeah.
Mo is the one that has
you're
the,
right.
he's a little bit,
Yeah.
more together than the other
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Barely.
The
Barely.
moment I'm talking about, it was just like two random kids at his school. Like I don't remember this kid's name, but one
Yeah.
of those guys was like the deadpan kid who was like, "Your dad lost his job."
Dooley. Stuart Dooley. That's Stuart
Yeah.
Dooley.
Stuart
yeah.
Dooley.
And if you would have asked me that like 6 months ago who that kid's name was, I probably would have never been able to tell you.
Yeah,
The fact that we've talked about him so much.
We certainly know now.
Yeah, he's popped up quite a bit. He's one of my favorite characters. Like, speaking of minor characters, that's one of my favorite minor characters.
we've not asked Mason this though. Mason, what's your moment? Like, when did you discover?
I did
When
ask
you-
Mason
Oh,
this,
did
but
you?
not on Mike.
Oh.
I know
It
his
doesn't-
story.
It doesn't count then. Yeah.
I know his story.
My girlfriend got me into it. That's all it is.
So much whispering.
So it was his girlfriend that got him into
Yeah.
it. So
And so, had she already been watching it?
Yeah, she was a fan from when she was a kid and younger,
Yeah.
I believe. And I'd seen it a couple times. I
Right.
knew Dale,
Uh huh.
but that's all I focus more on American Dad and the Simpsons more than
Get out. No.
no, that's okay. I like those shows. I like that. But the only thing that really irks me about this Seth MacFarlane universe was that a subpar show
Replaced King of the Hill.
King of the Hill because all of his other shows are wildly successful and did great. Family Guy and American Dad both still make new shows, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do.
The Cleveland show ran for 4 seasons. They took away 13 years of
It
King
feels
of the
like
Hill
it was a forced
for
4
4
seasons too. You know.
It had its moments and it did have a place. It just didn't. It was at the wrong time. Like if they would to have done it like 10 years later, I think it would have been way more successful than it was at the time.
Yeah.
But at the time, they canceled King of the Hill for a show that only it lasted 4 seasons. At the end of the day, it only lasted 4
Yeah.
seasons.
I mean, granted, I'm a huge Seth MacFarlane fan. I've seen most, if not all, episodes of those 3 shows.
Did you watch the Orville?
I saw like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. See, that's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
you should ever watch. It's a bad show.
I've heard mixed reviews. I think it's got a cult following, but I'm not really big into sci-fi stuff. I think probably about as much sci-fi as I could get would be like Futurama or Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that.
Futurama's
Sure.
about as far as I can go. Actually, the Langoliers, is that considered sci-fi?
The Stephen King thing?
I watched it on the Sci-Fi Channel as a kid, and I just
Oh,
loved
if it was
that
on the
movie.
Sci-Fi Channel, it's against the law not to show sci-fi on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it counted though.
It's part of their mission statement.
time travel. So
But I do remember whenever they canceled King of the Hill, and I was bummed because that was also the same time they canceled Mad TV.
Yep, they did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, I watch both of those shows pretty regularly, and I noticed that, with those last 2 seasons of Mad TV, it really went downhill to the point where it was past its prime, and, they weren't really trying anymore.
Sure.
At least the network wasn't. But, I mean, granted, this is a whole different conversation for a whole different podcast.
Oh, no,
because-
you're good.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah.
That's what Friday's about. It's just a general shoot the BS session.
Sometimes we take our pants off. It gets real comfortable.
I can confirm.
It's cold
I
right
can
now. Though.
confirm.
Well, I wouldn't
there's-
take my pants off here right now.
I don't see any girls here, so I guess I'll just leave
There
it.
you
Yeah,
go.
sure. Yeah.
It would be like 75% shrinkage right now at this wind.
They've-
I got
They've
this
all
gale
learned.
force wind blowing on top of my head.
All right, so let's get into these minor characters. We've got a few here. This is continuing. This will be our 3rd minor characters episode.
Third.
We're starting
The
to run
third
out.
minor characters episode with our 3rd guest.
Well, that's true. There you go.
3 is the magic number.
And
the
by the
magic
way,
number.
if you hear any of that, we're still enjoying our curly whirlies.
Yeah,
as
thanks
the
again,
episode
Artie.
goes.
I
Thanks,
see
Artie.
you're listening on our space here, Artie. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Artie.
So-
I hope they're
sir.
not poison.
So shout out to Artie. I never even knew you existed until about a half an hour ago, but
There it
you're a
is.
very cool person.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Artie, you're the best. All right, so let's start with Tom Chick.
I don't know who that is.
Do you know who Tom Chick is?
I have no clue.
He
I'm
is the
gonna look this guy
manager
up.
of Channel 84 News Division. And that's fitting in that Matt works at a TV station. Mason, during the week, works at a TV station. So,
Oh, you work at a TV station, Mason? I
do
didn't know
either
that.
of you know Tom Chick?
Well, if I rewatch the episodes and
He looks like Bill.
okay. I mean, I know I've seen him around before, but he probably would be a better part of my memory if I knew whenever that episode aired that I would be
Yeah.
in this business.
Yeah, so
He's the guy that tries to replace Nancy with Luann, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
who it
right.
is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good, good call.
That is a really good call. And you know what? I couldn't have done that any better. That was great. Yeah, because
He-
I didn't even know who that. I was still reading who he was.
He was voiced by Phil Hendrie, who I think Phil Hendrie is a comedian or is he a writer?
Phil Hendrie. I'll look
Look
him
on
up.
Phil
Yeah.
Hendrie. But he does. He looks like Bill, like a better looking Bill.
He's an American radio personality, so he did something with radio. Whatever.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Oh, yeah. I know
Truth
that face.
is our bitch. The Phil Hendrie Show.
Okay, go Phil Hendrie.
An American radio personality and actor. He's widely known through his voiceover talent. He's done.
I wonder how many
F is for
billions he's had
Family.
to pay for
He's done
lying on
Rick
the
and
radio.
Morty. You would recognize his voice from Futurama,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in the Midnight Gospel.
Oh,
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
what the Midnight Gospel.
Midnight
is, though.
Gospel was a Stephen King movie, also,
Oh,
I believe, or a
okay, I
TV
got
show,
you.
one or the other.
Yeah, so he's just a radio guy.
Check that, Artie.
The
please.
Phil Hendrie Show. He was
Well, I
actually
mean-
he was on Andy Richter Controls the Universe, and he
Boy,
was in
that
I
was-
remember
Hollywood
that
too.
show.
That was a
Yeah.
short run
He was in
show.
that super
was.
short.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was good though. I like Andy Richter.
Oh, Andy Richter's funny.
Like no joke. Ever since like 1997 or 96 to the present day, I even remember most of the crappy shows Fox tried to give a chance and they got canceled prematurely.
Sure, because you work at a Fox
No,
affiliate.
no, this was even when I was like a
Oh.
little kid in high school and stuff. I mean, just
You were a Fox fan.
yeah, I mean, just watching whatever came on Sunday nights on Fox for holy crap, like since 1997 to the present day, mainly because of the Simpsons
Animation
and other shows.
domination. Yeah.
Exact before it was even called that.
Before it was called that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They didn't even
I-
have a name for it at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah. They
but-
were just doing it.
But it was just called animation.
Yeah.
Big question mark.
Yeah, but just for as many years as I've been doing that, I remember seeing commercials for stuff that as a kid in high school I thought was super cool. I watched it, and most of the stuff got canceled.
Sure.
I mean, another good show that I really think would have lasted if it wasn't for Fox executives was Titus. That was hilarious.
Titus was hilarious. Yeah, that funny that he mentions that. You know what? Another one that I thought would have lasted a lot longer too if the executives would just left crap alone. What was it? The Tick.
Oh, the Tick was great.
That was great.
Yep.
The
I
Tick was
love
great
that
with what's his face?
Warburton, wasn't it?
Yeah, Patrick Warburton. He was the original Tick. Now the one on Amazon was pretty good too, though.
It wasn't
was very
bad.
good.
It wasn't bad. I just like Patrick Warburton as
Warburton
a human
plays-
being.
plays a big
Yeah.
idiot.
I just
Yeah,
like
he's
him as a
great.
human being. He's a good dude.
If y'all want to feel old, I have no idea what the hell y'all are talking about.
Really?
Oh, that's great. Well, that
Wow.
gives you something to go research.
You
'cause
really
you're
should.
missing out on some good stuff. Christopher Titus. Even if you just go look at Christopher Titus's stand-up and not the actual show, yeah, I mean, you'll love it. It's great.
You should watch The Tick, though. Seriously.
Yeah, you should.
The Tick is great because it is a comic book hero, so it's a superhero thing, but it's very funny. The original one is wonderful. Batman.
I'll see if I can find it. Also, sorry to call y'all old. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh no,
I'm not. Like I said, you're only my brother's age, so like.
I'm not old, but I'm not young anymore either.
Yeah.
I'm like here.
I'm just old, Mason. All
I'm
right,
just getting better.
Let's move on to the next one. Now, I have a hard time with this one, the pronunciation.
All right.
So this is Nguc Phong. Nguc Phong.
Nguc Phong.
Must be friends or
Nguc.
family of the Sufanufs and
There you go.
So
Nguc
he
Phong.
is a Laotian.
I think
who
the
is,
N is silent.
he's one of Ted Wassonasong's friends. So
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he works at the club.
Yeah, because the Wassonasongs, they were the rich family that Khan
Yeah.
always tried to get in
Yeah.
good with. Yeah,
Nine Rivers Country Club.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So this guy was he was in the episode Orange You Said I Did Say Banana. and he was attending a house party hosted by Ted, and then Khan hears of him being a war hero.
Oh.
Yeah, and then because they go to they start training. He starts training them. Training Khan and everybody to go.
That's
overtake the Laotian
That's
government.
right. He's the one that he's the
Army
guy.
They're doing like the army training on Nine Rivers Golf Course.
Yeah. I remember that.
That's got to be like a really late episode because
it is. It's pretty late.
It's got to be like way late in the series.
Yeah, that it does sound like it would be second half.
2005. So definitely the second half,
yeah,
season 10.
yeah.
So yeah, that's close to the end. Season 10, episode 6. Orange, you said.
These are two guys that only showed up for one episode, correct?
No.
This guy showed up for more than one?
The other guy showed up for more than one.
Oh,
This
okay.
guy showed up for one episode. The other
Just
guy
one.
shows up for 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And Phil Hendrie from 1999 to 2009, or whatever year we're in for. We're in like 97 right now, 98 for season 2.
This is 2022.
No, I know what year. For the show, it's like 97. But so whatever. He did voice acting from like 99 to 2009. So he did like a decade worth of.
I only say
Phil
what
Hendrie
year it
did.
is because I have to remind myself each day.
Yeah.
It's when I take my pills.
Well,
I
let's
have
see
to remind-
who this guy is. His name is James Sie. Sie.
Yeah, SIE.
So he
SIE.
is.
That's those pills you take.
He is
that
a
Oprah says are
Chinese
good.
American actor and author. He was the voice of Jackie Chan in Jackie Chan Adventures.
I remember
voice
that.
of Jackie Chan.
In Jackie
That's
Chan
crazy.
Adventures. There was a TV show, Jackie Chan Adventures.
I get
I
it.
remember that.
I get
and
it. But
he did other
Jackie,
characters too.
I get that, but Jackie Chan is a real person.
Yeah, no, I know.
He's the
I understand.
voice of Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
They couldn't
Yeah.
afford Jackie Chan when
They
they,
couldn't
made the show.
afford
They
Jackie
couldn't afford
Chan.
Jackie Chan on the Jackie Chan show.
They had
No,
him in the
it was a good show,
They had
too.
him in the
It was a
commercials
great
for
show.
the show.
Did
Like, yeah, they had like
Yeah.
It was
they had,
animated
like-
though, right?
They had like Kids WB commercials because that's where it aired, if I'm not
Kids
mistaken.
It was Kids WB.
And the live action Jackie Chan was in the TV ads.
He was in
and
the ads too, and
Was
I
that
think he was
still-
affiliated with some of the writing and stuff for the show too. I think he had like a hand in the show, but he was so busy when the show's going on. I mean, he's Jackie Chan at that time,
Sure.
like Rush Hour and all that was
Yeah.
like
Throwing
going
rocks
off.
at bad guys.
That was at the peak of like and
Jumping
we,
off
We talked
things.
to that guy too. Remember the guy that launched
Oh, yeah,
Jackie
yeah,
Chan's
yeah.
career?
Yeah.
That's right.
Speaking of Jackie Chan, just whenever I think that he's past his prime with doing movies, apparently there was a movie that got out about 6 years ago where he was with Johnny Knoxville that I
Yeah.
knew nothing about until
Yeah,
like
he gets
this
there.
week.
He's got some with Owen Wilson that I like.
Oh, yeah, I remember
They're
that.
cheesy, but
It's
I
called
like them.
Jackie Chan Gets Kicked in the Nuts
there you go.
with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, whenever they had that Hulk Hogan cartoon in the '80s,
Oh my God.
the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond, Brad Garrett, he was the voice of Hogan. So
Okay,
That's-
so
that's
this
fair.
this guy here is also just a prolific. I would say prolific. The amount of stuff that he's in as far
Oh,
as
wow,
voice
that is a
acting
long
goes, that's a
list.
lot, right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to go through this list, but he did video games too. So for all of you video game nerds, he was
did-
Lord Taran Zu in World of Warcraft: Mists of Pandaria.
He did the voice of the ball in Pong.
Yeah, there you go. Now he did a lot of video games, some really good games too, like Mafia 2. That's a really good game.
Oh, I
Hitman
remember
Absolution.
Mafia.
Yeah.
All right, our next one, Anthony Page, voiced by David Herman again.
David
Oh,
Herman again.
David Herman,
very,
lots of guys.
very underrated guy. One of my all-time favorite Mad TV cast members.
David Herman.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Mike Judge always seems to just have a job for him somewhere.
So
Absolutely.
Anthony Page, also known as Twig Boy. We've mentioned him several times. He's an ultra liberal social worker from L.A.
You'll know who he is because you are first season heavy. So he's the guy with
He's the one in
wrist.
episode
he's
1.
wearing the wrist. Yeah, he's in episode
1,
He's
yeah.
he's the guy that goes in the CPS case worker
Yeah.
or whatever that goes and tries to
Tries
take
to get
Bobby
Bobby
away
out,
from
yeah.
Hank.
Oh wait, yeah, the geeky-looking guy with like
Yeah.
the tie and the
Yeah.
short sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the pocket protector, and he's got like the wrist. Oh, my wrist hurt from typing. That guy.
Oh, wait,
I
was
had
this-
carpal tunnel?
At the end of the episode, whenever Hank's like, just about everything else makes me mad, but not you. You're my boy. Oh, he just hit him. Did you see that?
Yeah. It was
exactly.
him. That was that. Yeah. With the bus driving by. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
guy says, "Shut up, Twig Boy."
Exactly.
Yeah.
He appears also in a later episode, and that is the drug abuse episode.
Yeah, he shows up in the drug abuse episode, which
He's the
we
guy
just
that
covered
says
that
he's
one.
gonna
Junkie
sue.
business. Yeah, and he also shows up again in, of course, where everybody shows up in the wedding episode on season 11.
Oh,
which was
absolutely,
the,
yeah.
Which we discovered.
The actual finale.
Yeah, the actual finale, because Fox had soft canceled them in the 11th.
Canceled.
Prior to the 11th season, they weren't sure whether they're going to be. They were, it was like they had packed up everybody left the studio, that kind of thing. And that's when they had moved the studio to somewhere else when they kicked off the show because they were going to kill it pretty much. So they had a whole clip of show that didn't get aired because they took it out because it was an alternate ending. And in the alternate ending, they said that the entire show ran for 1 year.
That
the entire
everything
show,
happened
that
in 1 year.
everything for the 11 seasons up to that point, or the 10 seasons up to that point,
It's
was
kind of
all-
fantastic.
I can see that.
was all happening in a year. And then they made like the tank episode with Bill, where Bill's driving the tank through town. They make that where it was like Bill's fever dream or something, where it never really even happened. And it was because
they retconned a whole bunch of stuff. In
yeah,
that episode.
and the reason why they retconned it from the stuff that I read was because Mike Judge wanted the show to really be something that's believable, and somebody driving a tank through the street wouldn't be believable. But like at some point, you have to it's like a tug and pull between him and the writers and stuff like that. And there's just some stuff that he had to let go and didn't fight about. But then they erase all of it again, like as something that actually happened. With this final episode, and if you want, I'll send you the YouTube clip so you can see that little bit. It's pretty cool. It's actually from
why not? Sure.
Jim Dotrieve, the one of the producers and guy who's been a part of the King of the Hill since its inception, was the guy that released the footage on his Facebook, and he had his cell phone, so it's like a YouTube video through his cell phone, and he shows the video file of. That ending episode. It was pretty, I don't know, I didn't really like it. It kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that was during the time whenever I caught some episodes and some I didn't. Matter of fact, when was Lucky's first appearance? I don't remember whenever he came up.
It was the episode where Khan quits his job and wants to be a quote-unquote hillbilly.
Where he goes to fight. He does the bare knuckle boxing, and that's where he meets him at the trailer park, right?
Mason, you have way more knowledge
than me
on this than I thought.
That
is fantastic.
That's more than me. That recall is great.
No, I just remember stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was wondering how they introduced him, and I like how it's just he's not actually given any big introduction in that. He just shows up.
Yeah, he just shows up.
He just slides
in his
in
big
there.
truck.
Yeah, he does. Elroy.
But I do not remember how him and Luann started dating, though. I do not remember that.
Yeah, because I remember that episode, but like you said, he just kind of showed up, and it's like, I mean, that's why he just kind of slid under my radar.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Carl the Restaurateur. This is one of my favorites. He is the guy that owns the Showbiz Deli.
Oh,
Sounds very familiar.
Bobby goes to.
when Bobby gets gout.
Yeah.
He's the guy when Bobby gets
He
gout.
does
okay.
tell
What's
Bobby.
his name again?
His name is Carl the Restaurateur.
Okay.
It is voiced by Dennis Berkeley. He is. It says here. I'm just going to read you what it says. He indicates in the episode, the first one, Love Hurts and So Does Art, that before switching the menu to New York style deli food, his restaurant had served Italian food. Carl is not a stickler for quality in his cuisine, noting that he orders chopped chicken liver in a large drum. His restaurant is not popular, and often Bobby Hill is the only customer. He also seems to be a lazy cook, noting, "Did you know you have to heat up Italian food?"
Oh, that's terrible.
So he switches it to cold cuts, basically. Is what
That's where Bobby got gout.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how a 10-year-old gets gout or a 12-year-old gets gout.
Well, he eats at Showbiz Deli all the time, I think is what it does. He shows up again in another episode, Bad Girls, What You Gonna Do? He switches his menu to sushi, and his restaurant becomes much more popular.
Oh.
So there you go. He also is confused sometimes with Carl Moss, the school principal, because they're both named Carl, I guess.
I guess.
I guess so.
They're both they are both voiced by the same guy.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
So that's why you get it confused. Yeah. He's not a major character, again, a minor character, but I always like the fact that he's such a lazy cook and he orders all the chicken livers. That is fantastic. All right, moving on. Colette Davis.
This sounds familiar.
This is a star. This one is voiced by Christina Applegate.
Oh, okay.
She is the owner of Hottie's. In the episode My Hair Lady, and she is a trend-setting hairstylist responsible for bringing Messy Ponytail to Arlen.
What was her name?
The Messy Ponytail. Colette Davis.
Oh, Colette Davis.
She's the one that hired both Luann and Bill to work at her salon shortly after Luann drops out of beauty college. This is the one where Bill, pretends to be gay.
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that.
My Hair Lady. Yeah, that episode. I
Uh-huh.
got you.
She also shows up in which episode, you think? Lucky's Wedding Suit.
Oh, yeah, Lucky's Wedding
Yeah,
Suit.
for some reason
Everybody
you said
shows up.
Because everybody shows up there.
that's true.
Yeah.
For some reason you said that name, and I started thinking of one of those porn stars that they
Mm-hmm.
met that came to town.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love this small town feel, but I can never go back to my own.
Sure.
Something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
this is the episode where Bill has that crop top that says hotties on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful episode. All right, next one. Kane Scrittenberg.
Kane Scrittenberg.
I'm
He is-
gonna need a description.
I got you. He is voiced by Trey Cool.
From Green Day,
I guess so.
the drummer.
Oh
from
yeah,
Green
yeah,
Day.
yeah. He's the kid. Fun center.
Yes.
Yeah, it is actually voiced by the guy
He
from Green Day.
is the lead singer of the punk rock garage band and one-man antagonist in the episode The Man Who Shot Kane Scrittenberg, which was one we covered in season 1.
Yep, it was in
Correct.
season 1. Yeah,
Wait.
he actually shows up in multiple.
I remember
he's
that
season
now.
2.
Yeah.
He was in season 2. Yeah.
It's
And he's
also
in
the
season
one-
13 too.
Yeah, it's the one with the paintball.
Yeah, I
where
was
they
going
have
to say, isn't that the episode that ends with like, I think you boys are going to enjoy the world of acoustics, and
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's that episode. Yeah,
Wow,
that's
you
exactly that
have
one.
you have a lot of recall.
Yeah, you got a
also.
lot of
That's
recall
great,
too. That's
man.
great. Yeah.
all right, guys, woo lulu, woo lulu.
There you go.
I just wanted to do that.
You
There
got
you
it.
go. We end every episode with Wimitanya. Actually, that's one of the
Yeah.
punchlines. Oh yeah, my sister. I was talking to her yesterday. She said our next shirt needs to say "No bell, no yell."
No
She
bell,
s-
no yell,
She
that's
says
right.
that's your
I love
catchphrase.
that, yeah.
She says that's her favorite part of her episode. Here, you yell "No bell, no yell."
Well, thank you. Yeah, I like it. His band later appears in the episode Master of Puppets.
Yeah, which is the episode where the band headlines at the Arlen Fun Center.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. All right, next one, and this is a sticky one here.
Okay.
It is Jody Ray Strickland, voiced by Diedrich Bader.
Oh, Diedrich.
Any news on the Diedrich Bader front?
No news
Oh
on
wait,
it yet.
yeah. Well, was this one of his characters where he uses like his tough voice?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was. Yeah.
Jody, the illegitimate son of Buck Strickland,
He
lives in
actually is.
Tennessee.
If you look at the character,
Yeah.
he kind
It
of
looks
looks
a lot
like,
like
it
him.
kind of looks like Diedrich Bader in a sense.
They meet.
Yeah.
They meet at the National Propane Gas Convention. This is the one where Hank goes off the rails.
Yeah. On the Diedrich Bader front,
Uh-huh.
I still bug him as often as I can.
Yeah.
But there's been no like progress other than him commenting back and forth.
I
or
think we
something.
should tell him that we're having a autorama and see if he's interested.
I think it's going to be another one of those like with the voice actor for John Redcorn, where you got to contact a publicist or something like that,
And it costs you
pay a
$1.
nominal fee.
Maybe you send him some curly whirlies.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to ask the John Redcorn's
Agent,
agent. Sorry, I don't know
Mhm.
where that went. I'm
I
going to
gotcha.
ask John Redcorn's agent what the
what the fee is?
what the actual fee would be, and
See
then
if we can
I
pay him in
drum up some
t-shirts.
sponsorships. Yeah, pay him
Yeah.
in t-shirts. Well, I was
Yeah.
going to see if I could drum up some sponsorships to pay for it.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to print a T-shirt with his face on it. or
I mean, I
something.
would. Yeah, send him
So-
one of the wash shirts.
This is the one where they met at the National Propane Gas Convention. He is affectionately dubbed Ray Roy by Buck because he can't remember his real name. It's his illegitimate son. He accepts the nickname. He also runs a propane company, Strickland Propane, that's based in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Also, like Buck, Jody is a compulsive gambler, chauvinist, alcoholic, cheat, and womanizer.
Yep. And he pops up in just that one episode.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
for
it.
For an illegitimate son of Buck, you would think he would be on there a couple more times, but he's not. He
But
just kinda
again,
rides
like
off
you
into the
mentioned,
sunset.
that David Herman is his name.
Yeah, David Herman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David Herman. Like you mentioned, David Herman always pops up in different things that Mike Judge does. Diedrich Bader is also in a similar sense the same way because he did Office Space, and then he's in like quite a few King of the Hill things.
Have you
And-
ever seen Office Space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say Mike Judge launched his career, but Mike Judge and
it
Drew
launched his
Carey.
career.
Between Mike Judge and Drew Carey, like they kind of both because it was like simultaneous because he was doing this around the same time that he was doing the Drew Carey show.
Yeah, because I watched
In the
Drew
90s.
Carey. I watched Drew Carey for most of its run whenever it was
Yeah, I
on.
watched the entire
It was a
run.
good show.
And
I love Cleveland.
And up until today, I was saying his name wrong. I always thought it was Diedrich Bader.
Oh, Diedrich. Yeah, it's Diedrich. I'm pretty sure it's Diedrich.
And I'm going to say this one more time. I met Diedrich Bader at an Autorama.
What's he like?
He was like, next. That's what he was like.
Yeah, he's probably a long line of people.
Yeah, he was like, all
I
right, thanks,
imagine
thanks,
now.
go. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I've experienced in because I've been podcasting with Mike for, I mean,
It's been a while, yeah.
it's getting close to a year, I guess. Better part of a year. January will be a year, but
Feels like 20.
it feels like 20. I've been digging and calling Hollywood and calling companies and things like that, and I've noticed that a lot of the older people are more like receptive to talk than people who are still like actively.
Well, they probably hadn't been hit up in
generating
a
stuff.
while,
Well, actually,
which is great.
Actually, Diedrich Bader is actually
Oh, he's very busy.
He is like a full-time like working guy, voice acting. He does a lot of voice acting for animation and stuff. He's
Diedrich
actually
Bader.
a Batman. He's a voice of one of the animated Batman.
Diedrich
And
Bader, we love
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
He's got
that's true.
decades. He's got decades of an animated Batman voice like in his record. I can't remember what he's recording, but he's in Vancouver.
Yeah, wasn't he like on the Brave and the Bold series, like the really cheesy Batman cartoon?
Brave and the Bold.
I think so.
I want to say that was
I'm
like
just gonna look him up while we're here on
Yeah.
him real quick. Yeah, I think it was that actually.
This sounds like a soap opera.
I know it does, but I mean, like I'm a DC fanboy, so
Yeah, Batman the Brave and the Bold. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it started in 2008.
Yeah, it was like a really cheesy Batman series that took a lot of its cues from like the 60s show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a Batman series that made way for a little bit of humor and everything.
Yeah, he's got a lot of credits for voice acting. I feel like his voice acting might be even his credits might be larger for voice acting than it is even for.
Oh, I would imagine,
for
yeah.
that. But
He's
yeah,
a
so
guy-
he's
Say it again?
Go ahead.
Now, he's a guy who I never remember his name, but whenever I see his face, I remember how much I really like his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
funny guy.
I think he was recently an American Housewife too.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah, he was.
husband
On
and-
your station.
Yeah, and he was in Veep too.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. He was in
he
Veep.
was.
Oh,
He's
Veep
just that
is a
guy who pops up. Hey, he was in
fantastic show.
Bones too. He played a federal agent in Bones for like 3 episodes.
Nice.
Bones can suck it, but Veep was very good.
Also, as long as we're talking about the Brave and the Bold, if you want a really good laugh, look up the Birds of Prey song from that series. There's so many things in there that that shouldn't have made it past the censors, but it did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look up the Brave and the Bold Birds of Prey song in your own free
The whole
time.
song,
I'll have to check that out.
The whole song is just dick, 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 dick.
It might as well be.
Really?
Yeah, they're basically talking about like DC heroes and villains with a bunch of double entendres.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. I'm about to check it out. So yeah, he's been in Vancouver doing voice acting for Transformers Earth Spark.
The
All right,
Hammer.
here's a weird coincidence. The next one is Wesley Cherish, voiced
Okay.
by Andy Richter.
Oh, Andy.
No surprises
Richter.
there.
We've already
we
brought
go.
up Andy
Yeah,
Richter.
Yeah, we have.
Now, Wesley is the one that moved from Fort Worth. He is in the Straight as an Arrow episode. He is the guy that will not let his kids participate in predatory sports.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. This is another one of those
He-
those where we get to go see the
He has 6 children.
like Order the Straight Arrow people
Right,
the thing
right.
again.
6 children, only 2 of which have been named. Boys Robin and Carrie, one of which has ADHD and the other has hypoglycemia.
Yeah, that
Wow.
sounds like something Andy Richter would be involved
Yep.
in.
The children are homeschooled by Annette. Wesley does not allow his children to play video games or watch TV, although they do have a TV, which is mainly used as an end table.
Again, Andy Richter-esque as for the character from that era.
Oh,
Like, that's
yeah.
like that looks kind of like 90s Andy Richter almost.
Yep, agreed.
All right, so we have 2 more characters in our minor character episode here.
Okay.
They are related, so I'm going to do both of them at the same time.
All right.
One is a star, and I believe the other one is as well, that do the voice acting for him. David, the flying Hawaiian Kaliki Eki Ali, voiced by Brandon Fraser.
Oh yeah, David Kaliki, and then his mom.
So you didn't finish his name. That's
Nah,
yeah, I get it.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Sure. So David, the flying Hawaiian Kaliki Kikakali.
What's his mom's name?
It is. Is that his mother?
Yeah. Should be.
Mrs. Chelcie
I got you.
That was Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, that was Brendan Fraser. And the Mrs. Chelcie is voiced by Amy Hill.
I feel like I should give you an
Amy
award
Hill,
for all this
okay.
pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm not doing it correctly, I promise you. But
Butchered.
yeah, and so
Amy Hill, she was on All American Girl.
yeah, exactly. He is the star football player in the Arlen High School in the episode Peggy Makes the Big Leagues. He has a carefree attitude towards school, figuring he can coast by on his football skills. As most of the teachers cut him slack due to his importance on the team, but he runs afoul of Peggy due to the no pass no play due to the no pass no play policy,
which did not exist at my high school. Because I watched, there was a guy that was they had a criminal element. I went to La Vegas, so there was a criminal element in one of the.
There was a criminal.
He was literally
element.
like top 5 running back in his state.
Yeah,
like him. It was like 2 brothers, and they
this
were
is the one
like,
that did the stick ups.
well, yeah, they did. There was stick ups. There was like they broke into the field house.
Yeah.
Broke into the field house safe. Stole money from the program that they exist within.
I remember that.
And the head coach bails him out of jail on Wednesday. keeps him at his house. Coach keeps the kid at his house. Tells his mom, "Hey, I'm going to make sure that he's not getting in any trouble for the rest of the week." Yeah. And then Friday night, they're just paying him the ball every play.
Thank
boom,
God
boom,
for
boom.
Texas football.
Yeah,
Huh?
Texas football. Ruining children's lives one day at a time.
Well, Peggy is the one that stands in his way, and she realizes that he's learning disabled.
Yeah.
And because he can't write, he can't read.
They can't really do
handwriting
much
is
of
poor.
anything. So she starts using like toddler techniques to teach him and stuff with like what is it? With the handle on it, and it says this a cow sound. This is the noise a cow makes.
Oh gosh, the speak and say.
Yeah, the
Speak
speak
and
and
say,
say, whatever
yeah,
it's called.
yeah.
It has like the lever on it. Artie, fact check for me, man. You have to tell me what that's called.
It is a speak and say, right? Or is it
I don't know.
say and play.
I mean, I think it has different names, but
Twist and talk.
I feel like if I said speak and say after that
Well,
description,
I know
y'all
there's
know
a
what it
speak and
is.
spell. That was the big word calculator. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that one would go cow or whatever. Whenever you spell it out, it would say cow.
I think there was an episode of I Rule Monsters where Crumb belched up or puked up one of those things, and there was like some crooked politician joke because there was like a cow and a pig, and there was like a politician and what they said. I can't remember that joke, but I remember it being very out of touch for a kid's cartoon.
Yeah. So later, Mrs. Chelcie she's a Hawaiian insurance agent that Hank visits when Con backs into Hank's truck.
Yeah,
I did not realize that was the
correlation.
same one. Yeah,
it's the same
I
one.
didn't think about that, but she is his mother.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the voice actor for. We already know who Brendan Fraser is. Brendan Fraser,
The Mummy.
The Mummy,
Encino
Bedazzled.
He played a great mummy.
I liked him in Bedazzled with Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot. That was one of my favorite ones.
As a 90s kid, his best roles will always be in Encino Man and George of the Jungle.
Those are good. Those are both really, really good Brendan Fraser movies. And Brendan Fraser's recent movie, I haven't seen it, but
The Whale?
everybody says that it is just like
The Whale is like his big deal
powerful.
now, yeah.
It's like his comeback tour.
And then there was a story the other day where they're talking about maybe doing another Mummy movie with him.
Yeah. Oh,
And then they would completely retcon the Tom Cruise thing.
Dude, Robot Man on Doom Patrol.
There you go. Robot Man on Doom Patrol. Okay, so Amy Hill, we'll jump into her real fast. So,
Amy Hill.
Speaking of Jackie Chan Adventures, she also voiced Mama
Jackie Chan.
Toru on
Oh.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah, but Jackie can be a female's name too.
Sure.
It can.
Jackie.
But where all of us would probably know her from, if everybody's seen 50 First Dates.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she plays
I saw 49
Sue.
of them.
You saw 49 of them?
Yeah.
So she plays Sue, which is the one that's the protective, the at the diner where they go to every
Oh,
morning.
yeah,
She's the heavier set Hawaiian lady that's like,
Gotcha.
really, really protective of.
We've talked about her in that last episode. We talked about that being her, the one
the
in
car
50
wreck
First
because
Dates.
she was
Yeah,
in the car
yeah.
wreck. The Kaliki
What is
Ali
this? What do you when you put your wrists together
car wreck.
and go
Like
car wreck?
cars are backing up. You're backing your hands up. That's the bumper of your hand right there.
I thought maybe that was like sign language for car wreck.
Car wreck. I mean, it could
This
be.
is how you. Yeah.
I mean, it did look like that.
It did.
Yeah,
I was
dude,
like,
just
oh,
like
man.
real fast.
One of those
Yeah.
times when we really need a visual
I
component.
thought,
There you go.
man, I just learned something. And that's it, guys. That's it for minor characters this time. Any final thoughts before we chew the rest of our curly whirlies?
Already taken care of.
Okay.
Oh, he
He's
already killed it.
eaten his.
Well, I'm going to give you another one for the road. Share it with whoever.
Uh-huh. Share it
And
with people.
enjoy.
Share it with
eat
people you don't
yourself,
like.
Yeah, or don't share it. I
Yeah.
don't share mine. It's all hidden from my family. So
Your curly whirlies are all hidden.
the curly whirlies.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring some again
As they
next
should
time
be.
as well. Every time we record on Saturday, I'll bring some because he
Nice.
sent me like 4 or 5 of these.
Really?
packs like
Oh,
this.
wow. Thanks,
Yeah.
Artie.
He spent out on us. He,
Artie, by the way, when we do get those shirts going, Artie needs to be one of the first ones to get a shirt.
Yeah, I think Artie should be one of the first ones to get a shirt too. Yeah. And
We
then,
should, you know the
I
other
draw
thing we should,
basketballs. I want to make sure he
yeah,
gets one.
oh, definitely, because he drew it. But the other thing we need to do is make like membership cards, and send people membership cards to the Bwaaa,
I think that would be funny.
a King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast Club.
I think that would be funny. Or if we had members only jackets with like Strickland propane on it.
I'm not making members only jackets, but okay. Yeah,
Man, I
sure.
could
But
rock
like
one of those.
Strickland propane with like a
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
little butane flame.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bwaaa, a King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast Club, is what we set up, and we have our Bwaars.
Well, I thought about setting up a Patreon for those episodes where we sit here with no pants.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that ought to be on camera for
Yeah,
somebody.
Do you have one of those prosthetic butt boobies?
prosthetic butt boobies?
I know what he's talking about. He's talking
Sure.
about Hank's prosthetic ass.
I have
and while we're sitting here,
I have a
on,
luscious merkin that I can wear.
yeah. So while we're sitting here on,
Do y'all know what a merkin is?
no, a merkin, isn't that like a
It's
shag
fake-
carpet
it's
for a
fake
woman?
pubes.
Yeah.
It's fake pubes.
Fake pubes.
Yeah, that you wear.
I was still thinking about the butt boobies.
So we got we had a shout out while we were recording today
Fantastic.
from International Podcast Day.
Oh.
A Twitter managed by somebody,
Okay.
but they have like a following of
Thanks, International Podcast
20K
Day.
people on their page, and they shout us out. So hey, appreciate that.
Wait,
Thanks
how
so
many
much.
people?
They have like 20K people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great, International Podcast Day. Thank you. I wish you had a name. Jeff from International Podcast Day.
Jeff. From
Thanks, Jeff.
International Podcast Day. Yeah, thanks, Matt, for
Well, Matt,
coming out and
thank
hanging
you
out
for
with
being
us on
here.
this,
We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I mean,
Yeah.
I know
busy
it
Saturday
took,
morning.
I know it took forever for this to finally happen,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the story, Mike, I didn't tell you. So Matt has been trying to, he tried to be like when he first heard about our podcast, when we first launched
Yeah.
back in
He hit us up?
February, March, he had
He was the
he had
original
reached out.
International Podcast Day.
Yeah, he had reached out to me about it, and it was when we were kind of in the early stages, and our schedules were never able to line up because he's a 9 to 5 guy, and we were recording on Mondays at that time.
It wasn't always like that,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well,
Yeah,
he's also
yeah.
pile driving people on the weekends.
Yeah, that too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget that. I mean, my busy
German
season
suplexes.
my busy season on that wrapped up like last
So
week.
what was that thing? You mentioned something about that off mic. What was the thing that wrapped up last week?
Bound for Glory?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Okay, so at its core, it's a professional wrestling event. It's one of the biggest of the year, but for me
But
personally,
for who? Who's the biggest of the year for?
they're called Impact Wrestling. They used to be
Oh,
called.
I gotcha.
They used to be called Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, but it's Impact Wrestling now.
Total
It-
nonstop action wrestling.
It's their big annual event, kind of like how WWE has WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But for me personally, Bound for Glory is basically like my Super Bowl and my World Series. I mean, it's like the one thing that I can geek out on for 4 weeks out of the year with no regrets.
4
That's
weeks.
awesome.
It used to
That's awesome.
be a month, but now 4 weeks.
Isn't that the same thing?
Minus a few days.
So
Well, it's kind of funny that he mentions wrestling and stuff like that because Mike
Yeah.
Chisholm, our our friend from Canada, does a lot of wrestling promotion stuff, and he actually he's like super like deep into it. Last week or 2 weeks ago, he was posting some pictures of him at lunch with Jerry Lawler.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I was this close
Jerry
to
the
meeting.
King.
I was this close to meeting him as Matt Savage last April, but he was right in front of me. But there were other wrestlers that I cared a little more about. But maybe next time. I mean, don't
I'm
get
sorry, Jerry. I'll get
fuck
to
you,
you in a
Jerry
minute.
Lawler. No, I'm just kidding. I
Jerry,
like Jerry.
Jerry Lawler is the king. He will always be the king. But at the same time, I was one of thousands of people who was lined up to see Jeff Hardy.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I don't know.
You want Jeff Hardy over Jerry the King?
It was a very tough choice, but I mean,
you got to understand
It's
generationally.
Sophie's choice of wedding.
Well,
of wrestling.
generationally, I feel like us '90s kids would like us late '80s, early '90s kids would line up for Jeff Hardy over Lawler. I feel like.
well, also Jerry Lawler does a ton of these things now.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy is basically still in his prime and does rare appearances.
Like
For this one,
he's
thing,
still making. He's still making bank doing what he's doing. So yeah, he's not going to show up unless there's checks involved.
he still wrestles.
Yeah, he still wrestles.
yeah, he does. Plus also
At a high level too.
Jeff Hardy still wrestles.
At a high level. You got to think he's only 68, 69.
He was born in the 70s. I know that.
Oh, he's born in the 70s, so he's at least in his late 40s.
Yeah. But I mean, like Jerry Lawler, he goes to a ton of these things and stays throughout the whole weekend. Jeff Hardy very rarely does any, and if he does, he's there for like one day.
I think a lot of those older like statesmen of wrestling, like Jerry Lawler, like appreciate and love the sport so much. They go to all the amateur stuff and they do all the they go to everything that's like involved with from the ground floor of wrestling all the way up to the highest professional levels. I feel like they appreciate it at an entirely different level. And what I can't remember his name. He does a podcast. I was forced to listen to it for like months when I was doing construction work. Well, when I was doing construction here recently, my buddy listened to the podcast every day.
Steve
so
Austin?
No, it's not Steve Austin. It's an elder statesman. I can't think of his name. One of the announcers.
Oh,
He's got a. It's like a 3 hour.
What's
long
the dude with the cowboy hat? What's his name?
JBL.
JB?
No, not JB.
JBL?
Not JB. It's
Just
another
JB?
one. It's another one. The
L?
guy that I'm talking about had a lot to do with like the WWE. He was a part of like some of the management.
Jim
side.
Ross.
Jim Ross.
No,
That's who I was thinking
not
of.
Jim Ross. Oh man, he would be mad at me.
Was it Jim Ross?
Wasn't Jim Ross? My friend would be really pissed because
That's okay.
I
Well,
listened
did
to
he
it for
kind of
months.
sound like this?
Something like that. Hold on, let me.
Hey, welcome to Out of the Corner, our new wrestling podcast.
If he ever talked about Oklahoma or about barbecue sauce or Bell's palsy, it's Jim Ross.
No, it wasn't. There wasn't any of those.
That's quite a combination.
It's like a 3 hour. It's like literally a 3 hour podcast, and it's with like I said, one of the elder statesmen in football. It's not JR, no. It's one of those guys though. It's like who did JR used to do? Who was it that used to sit beside JR?
Jerry
the King.
Lawler.
Yeah.
It was Jerry Lawler, right?
Yeah.
It was Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
I can't even think of who it is, and it's
That's
gonna
okay.
bug the hell out of me now.
That's all right. Hey, if you guys get
Jim
a chance,
Cornette. Jim Cornette.
Oh,
Jim
yeah,
Cornette.
yeah.
Jim
Fantastic.
Cornette. That's the guy that I had to listen to. It's actually really good, but
If you guys
I'm not
get a
listening to
chance-
3 hour podcasts.
If you guys get a chance, check out Cadbury Curly Whirlies. You can go to betreatwise.net.
I think so. I mean, is it Be Treatwise? I think that might be.
That's what it
I
says
just-
on the wrapper.
I know. I just love the uncomfortable silence.
Oh,
that
that's,
that
I-
being
I
sued
thought the
after that.
equipment
That
got
was
shut
fantastic.
off.
No. That's the website
Yeah.
for nutritional information.
Oh, okay.
because
Well, go there and check it out, guys, because there's only 98 calories in this bar
Well-
of tooth loosener.
I don't know that it does it on this packaging. No, I don't see. Yeah, it does. See on this packaging here, you see this, the bubbles.
There's a
with
lot
the-
going on here.
right here. See
Yeah, I
that
got
part
you.
right
yeah,
there.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So what they have in England that is an indicator for what foods
shit.
are bad or not. So they have this system that like it'll be red. So if it'll say like for let's say saturates. If the saturates is in red,
Saturates?
if it shows like the saturates in red or the salt in red, it indicates that it's probably like not something that's good to eat. So like the chips and stuff, they'll have like salt in red and stuff like that. That means that you shouldn't eat a ton of it. It's just a lot of food, like a lot of food, health, safety stuff that's not implemented in the States due to corporations and money. Like they have a lot of things over there that they do differently with their food as far as how many antibiotics you're allowed to pump into it and stuff. Like they have like 0 hormones, 0 antibiotics in all their food and stuff like that. Most of it. And I have to say, while I was there in England in 2016, the food just, I don't know, it just tasted, everything just tasted better. Like even if you ate at a fast food place, like you didn't feel like you were eating crappy food. You felt like you were still eating a good, honest meal. Like
Okay.
fast food places used to be. Like my dad remembers McDonald's, from 1965, and he was like,
Ashtrays.
the burgers tasted like a burger, and he's like, nowadays it just tastes like processed plastic.
So on our way out here, because we gotta end this.
Yeah.
On the back, there's a Mondelez Ireland free phone.
Mondelez.
Free phone.
Mondelez.
And I was gonna call that number, but there's not enough numbers. It's 1-800-678-708. It's missing a number.
Oh wow.
You can't call that number.
You can't.
Well, the free phone number is in bold. Oh, that says
Yeah,
UK
but
only.
that's like UK only. Yeah, that's
Oh, that's why you're trying to call Dublin, Ireland.
yeah, but there's not enough numbers.
Well, you could go to the website.
I don't want to do that. That's too much.
Okay.
All right. Well, enjoy.
that's why right
enjoy
there.
Cadbury Curly Whirlies. Artie, thank you again for the sweet treat. Thank you to
Appreciate it,
I Draw Basketballs. Thank you to Pod Save the Queen or whatever that place was.
Pod Save the
International
Queen.
Pod Day. Thank you for reaching out. And Matt, again, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us on this Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning. That's a Friday afternoon
it's a Friday
episode.
It's all good. I mean, I'm super happy to be here and talk about
cool.
something that made me happy back in the day.
It's awesome.
Milestone in animation.
Yep,
Heck yeah.
milestone in animation. All right, on our way out, Mason, got any last words?
What are the chances of me making it in the NFL? Like 50-50?
Maybe
That's
Pee Wee
fantastic.
football.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
maybe.
that was from the Flying Hawaiian
Oh,
episode.
yeah,
Flying
yeah,
Hawaiian
yeah.
That's
episode.
wonderful, man.
That is wonderful.
Good job. Good
Damn.
job. Mason, you are a welcomed
Coming
addition.
into your own.
Yeah, welcomed addition. All right, well, let's get out of here.
Alrighty. Wimatanye.
Wait a minute,
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.